We are live.
Hey, we're live on location in Kamloops with Roxy Hermsen, a local artist here in Kamloops. We're in her beautiful home, and
The reason why it's so beautiful is because it's nice and new, but it's more beautiful because of all of her beautiful paintings that she has scattered throughout her home.
yes,
Yes.
many paintings. And we're just going to spend some time with you today. How's it going?
It's good, thank you. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
It's nice to see the arts in Kamloops getting a little boost here and there. You were at the art party the other day.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite places to take my grandkids, and
Yeah.
you know, everybody there is so amazing. That mural they did. Like, I've always been involved in arts in the community, and kind of my motto has been building community through the arts.
Wow.
So in the past, I've been involved in Salmon Arm, helped starting the art gallery in Salmon Arm. Many years ago, we kind of embarrassed City Hall to give us the old library. We did a laundered art show there where we did the show in the laundromat and hung tie-dyed long johns in the windows and put art pottery on top of the washing machines, and we got the art gallery, so
Nice.
that's still there. And then we lived in Enderby for many years, and I taught at A.L. Fortune. I also taught at SAS in Salmon Arm, Fine Arts. Media. I developed a media program there, and we helped start the art council in Enderby.
Nice.
And then the big huge mural. I don't know if you've been through Enderby on the back of City Hall. There's this big huge mural. Kind of got that one going with Francis Hatfield, and 80 people from age 8 to 88 created that mural.
Oh, wow.
And it was based on the community play that Kathy Stubbington had done out at Curly Willow Farm. And so it was all about the arts in community, whether it would be drama and acting, take that into the arts. We had all the community parts come together in Enderby, and the mural's still up on, we did it all on panels and then put it together like a
Right.
big puzzle. And then I was also part of the group that started the Okanagan Artisans Guild, and then later they called it the Market. And then together with my parents and my husband, we started the Okanagan Science Center
Oh, really?
Did
in
you?
Vernon, yeah, in my dad's garage in 1985, yeah. So we...
So arts and sciences.
Arts and sciences.
And business.
And business. Tony, my husband, used to work in the physics department at the University of Calgary.
Okay.
And my dad was an electrician who loved gadgets of any kind of, you know, he lived to 94, he had his iPhone, and he would, you know, he just lived it right until the end. And he had also been an Akela at Scouts, and he had taken a whole bunch of kids to the Science Center in Seattle. And usually you say, don't touch, put your hands in your pockets, like all
Right.
of that kind of stuff. And he says, just have at her, kids. And he just really liked the idea of hands-on fun, right?
I feel like you take after your dad a bit because
Oh, yeah.
he's
My
all
brother.
about teaching and bringing, you know, younger kids together. And
All of that. His
Yeah.
favorite thing was the Van de Graaff generator to give you a hair raising experience. That was his, and then of course the little shock at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but yeah, he was definitely about all of that, and so I've just been involved in community in a real big way in 3 different communities: Vernon, Salmon Arm, and Enderby. And then a year and a half ago we moved here, and the reason we moved here is because my son lives here, and I have 4 grandkids.
Nice.
And so now I can be involved in their life. Like I said, we take them to the art party and
Yeah.
do pottery.
Do they take painting lessons from you?
My second grandson he started doing painting with me, and my oldest grandson, Tristan, is doing bleached t-shirts. And he's doing all these really cool designs on bleached t-shirts.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of getting him into turning that into a bit of a business. He's already had orders. He's done stuff for Christmas
Well, very
presents. And so he's doing his own design, and we're kind of learning as we go because it's like a new thing even for me. And so we're taking him through all the business aspect. And my son has, he works a job, but he also has Level Up Enterprises, which is, he does my webpage, he does other artists' webpage,
Okay.
and all of that kind of stuff, social media marketing. He does the social media marketing where he works. And so I have that support of,
Yeah.
you know, I need help, get me a webpage, help me do this and that. And so he's going to be helping, Tristan with that, his shirts and everything. He just started doing it this summer. So
the shirts, you mean, or
the shirts? Yeah. So yeah, I've been working with him after schools, and we got him set up in his dad's garage. We were doing it out here on the deck until the weather went bad. But he's also sewing, like, he takes apart jeans and makes them baggy because, of course, the baggier, the swaggier. So
didn't know, but I guess so.
Right? And so he's sewing. So he has my sewing machine now. So, so definitely. And my granddaughter is in singing lessons.
Okay.
So she's working with Rebecca Collette from the Vancouver Opera. She does it via Zoom. So one of my friends helped me put that all together because she's a singer at the Coast as well. And so I'm trying to get them all done. And then, of course, the little guy's just a year and a half, but he's doing art. I got it on my fridge already.
Yeah.
And I just...
the feathers?
The feathers, yeah.
Maybe
fly,
show?
the bird. Yeah, sure. If you
We have to get permission, though.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do we get permission from the artist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
There's the feathers, and there's a couple of Jack the Dripper ones at the bottom of the fridge there.
I don't want to ruin
So look at the one down at the bottom there. There's red and...
Oh, yes. Let's show this piece. So
Jack the Dripper? Oh, that's all right.
Jackson Pollock.
Right. Yeah. Was that his nickname?
Yeah,
didn't know
that's
that.
what we joke at.
Okay.
So that's my grandson Andon's first painting.
And he is how old?
He is a year and a half.
Brilliant.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so... And I just think art is so important for many reasons. Like, creativity is really important. But in my life, it's been really important as art therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I studied art therapy at UVic, and then I've been through quite a few really difficult things in my life. I lost my health to Lyme disease. We lost our youngest son and my parents. And so, you go through the valleys and, all of that. And for me, painting was a way to make it through those really difficult times. And after we lost Shay, he was 9 years old, we had this kind of uncanny offer to be able to go to Grenada in the West Indies for my husband to work at a pottery there. And so they paid our way down and a house, and they paid him a wage and a vehicle, and our oldest son to go to an international school. And I was sick with Lyme disease, so I took down 200 feet of canvas and a suitcase full of paint and decided that I was going to take up painting because that's what I could still do.
Right, okay.
And so I focused on what I could still do. Sometimes I went to the pottery if I was feeling okay, but...
What happens when you get Lyme disease? I know it comes from ticks, right?
Okay, yeah, you hear people talk about fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue, so you're just really, really tired and all of that kind of stuff. It's
muscles and
brain
stuff?
fog, pain. It's very, very difficult. I actually went through a 6-year treatment plan with a fellow in Salmon Arm, and so it was like a herbal treatment, and I got my brains back. I feel like I have like a country music song played backwards. I got my brains back, I got my energy back, all of that kind of stuff, and so I'm way better. Got my sleep. Once I got my sleep cycle back, that was huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
And it was that time period that's when you started to paint?
No, I started to paint in Grenada. That was back
Okay.
in the 90s. So 97, 98 is when I started painting.
Okay.
My husband was working at the pottery. And so that's where I kind of made a transition from being a potter into a painter. And I joined the Arts Council in Grenada and went to show with them. And then I had a couple of my own shows in places. I did a mural in exchange for pizza.
Nice.
I'll trade. Fair exchange is no robbery, right? I mean, it was more than one pizza, but at a pizza place.
You
right?
gotta negotiate, right?
Right. Another place was at a winery. Okay, we're good.
Oh yeah.
So and so I did a couple of shows there and sold internationally. So right away I thought, I'm famous, right?
Yeah.
Delusions.
Now you really are.
Now I really
who you're
am.
with.
Yeah.
Made it to TELUS. Woo!
Yeah, I made it to TELUS. So anyways, I came back from Grenada and then I just continued to paint. And shortly after...
Were you always good at painting?
I don't know. Am I good at painting? I'm not really sure.
I mean, you're amazing at it. I'm just wondering what it was like when you first started.
Actually, I'll give you my thing. In Grenada, this is back in the 90s, so there were no digital cameras and take a picture. You had to pay, and it was expensive down there to get pictures taken.
Sure.
So I'm very good at color and mental image picturing. So like some people can't do that, but I can take a picture of my head. So that's what I did. I took pictures of textures and people and all that, and then I would come back to my wall where I basically taped the canvas on the wall, and then I would just paint out of my head. And part of it, I thought, working from photos and stuff is like painful. So you have painting, right? So what I wanted to do is take the pain out of painting. And in Grenada, they go, oh, that's lots of tings, man. So I took the pain out of painting, and now I just do lots of tings, man. That's my thing, right? And so
you're a comedian. You never told us you're a comedian.
I taught drama, so
there you go.
I've been there. Anyway, so I can remember the painting that I actually was working on, and also when you have Lyme disease, you get cramps and like all these different kinds of things with your hands.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is what my hands can do, so I guess this is my style. And I just didn't fight it anymore. Like a lot of people, it's like, oh, this isn't right, and they get mad and they get frustrated. And I just decided that I was going to take the pain out of painting and just do lots of tings. And so you can tell there's lots of tings.
There are, yeah.
Right? Tings everywhere.
And it does look like you have a style that is, yours, clearly.
Yeah, recognizable. Yeah. And I love color, and part of the reason that I love color so much was starting painting in the tropics. I mean, everything is brilliant, right?
Yeah.
And that works and doesn't work in Canada. A lot of people in Canada, are more into the pastels, whatever.
Right.
Like Robert Bateman kind of.
Yeah, or, watercolors
muted.
Are muted and washed.
Yeah, muted brown, green,
right?
of the wilderness.
Yeah, like my paintings aren't really what you would call wallpaper. They jump out at you.
They do, yeah.
Right?
They're very vibrant.
And some people can handle that and some people can't. And that's okay. So there's people that, and that's another reason I never feel competitive with other artists. Because somebody who likes my art might not like their art, but somebody might like their art, not like my art.
Yeah.
And if it's just like more, let's lift everybody up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Do lots of things with other artists and promote each other, and I share out on Facebook and all of that. And I'm really happy to know my students. Some of them have gone on to do art. Some of them have gone on to be movie producers.
Wow.
One worked with Anthony Hopkins and Ray Liotta. Yeah, I did the show in Enderby, Blackway, the movie Blackway. And another one of my art students has an Academy Award.
Wow.
She did the scenic painting for Revenants, and she still works in scenic painting. And I have other ones who are art teachers, and I just like, leave me in your dust, kids. Leave me in your dust, right?
Wow, you must be proud.
Oh, definitely. And what's really cool, like that's why I like Facebook and stuff, is I hear from them, and I get wonderful feedback sometimes, and I'm like, really? Oh, that's amazing, right? That's what I hoped I was doing.
Yeah, right.
So you have a website, though, is that correct?
Yeah.
I feel like websites are a thing of the past. Facebook works so wonderfully for networking and sharing and messaging. And
my website is just being updated right now. My son's doing this for me. And basically people can go there to see quite a bit more of my work, read a little bit more about me or whatever. And I do have like in the business side of things, because I like to buy art supplies, I'm just going to say.
And they're not always cheap.
And they're not cheap, right? But I have product or merchandise now. You can get a mug. I actually have one. I should bring it out. Mug with my art on it.
Oh, wow, nice.
I'm getting shoes with my shower curtains, T-shirts.
Magnets?
And I make those magnets. I do those myself.
Can I grab one?
Yeah, sure. Those are my business cards, and I put
magnets
on the back of my business cards.
Okay.
And so, so I'm just kind of getting that going. And then also you can buy, we'll be able to buy my paintings online.
So like prints of them or
original
paintings?
The original paintings,
wow,
and
nice.
Make a payment, right? Because not everybody can afford
totally, yeah,
$2,000 or something like that for a big painting.
Yeah.
But maybe they can pay for it over time.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and I'm always happy to do that. So we're setting that up on my website so that people can do that. And then, yes, they can get prints and other items with different work.
But you not only offer prints for sale, but the thing that I thought was so cool and unique about what you do is you were thinking about, or unless you have already started, but you rent out your paintings, your original paintings, to real estate agents and.
That's where I'm going next.
Oh, okay. So you haven't done that yet.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Oh.
I've got brochures.
Brochures.
Can I show the camera?
Sure.
Okay, talk about your brochure.
Okay, so I've done this in Salmon Arm.
Yeah.
And I've done paintings for dentist offices, trade for dental work.
Oh
I've
my God,
done
smart.
art for in doctors' offices. And like I was saying before, so there's the art, right?
Yeah.
So to have, let's say you're in a doctor's office, or you're going to the chiropractor, or you're in pain or whatever, if you can sit down and look at a painting and kind of get lost in it for a few minutes,
Right.
that diminishes the pain or the
Right,
anxiety.
right.
Unless it's a picture of Satan.
Well, I never do that.
Or
See?
a baby ripping its way out of a mother's stomach.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, I paint what I need to see,
Exactly.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
I could have painted all my angst.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and many artists do. But I thought, there's enough of that in here. I don't need to subject the rest of the world to that.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
And also, I needed to lighten myself up with, because after my mom passed, I was depressed.
Yeah.
And, grief, heavy grief, and so I used bright colors.
Right.
Right? Like these ones, actually, this one and the one behind you over there, I had a flower. Was just trying to think, a wildwood flower in Salmon Arm. I asked my friend's daughter who was working there, would you make me a bouquet that will inspire me? Right? And this was over COVID, because everything was locked down and all of that. So she would bring me this beautiful bouquet, and I'd set it up in my studio and enjoy it, and then I would paint it.
Right.
Right? So it was kind of a way that she inspired me, and then I would inspire somebody else, and all of that kind of stuff. And it's kind of funny because people think, well, flowers just hang there and stay there, but they don't.
Yeah.
Some bloom,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
wither, stuff falls off.
Right.
And I would try to do a couple of different paintings with the same, get my money's worth, I'm a thrifty girl. And just paint these beautiful flowers. So I like to work up from life.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was my mom's tablecloth in behind,
Okay, yeah.
right? That I just kind of hung up in my studio in Salmon Arm and then painted, and that's my mom's vase.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
So some of the paintings have deeper meaning
Yeah.
to them, right, as well. And then a lot of times I'll be, just driving around, like I saw all these really cool sumac trees over by the,
Yeah, I collect those branches. They're so neat.
yeah, they're so cool. And just
Yeah.
like how they're all windy and all of that kind of stuff. And these are over by the credit union in Valley View, right? And I kept driving by them going, oh, I got to paint those. So I'd just go out and photograph. So I do work from photographs, but I use them more as like an impression.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I work the painting as a painting.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it doesn't look like, photorealistic
No.
kind of work,
That's-
right?
My mom's a painter, and she'll set up like a still life purposely. So she'll put a lamp with apples and whatever, and a tablecloth, and she'll paint it exact to what she took.
Yeah, well, I took the
have
paint
no
out.
patience
That's
for
painful
that.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I know.
And that's what I mean about taking the paint out. So with this, getting back to this part, is if you rent a painting from a Canadian artist, or you buy a painting from a Canadian artist, and you have a business and you're going to put it up in your business, it's fully tax deductible.
Wow, I did not know that.
Right? So, and a lot of people don't know that. So that's why I'm putting that together in these. And basically what I'm doing with, I'm going to kind of first target all of the ones on Nelson Street there, the chiropractors and
Yeah.
the massage therapists and stuff like that. And see because then they could have an ever-changing,
Right, because if it's a
Just
rental,
like-
they could just keep swapping them
right?
out.
So
and-
every 3 months I would go and change the paintings
Yeah.
up, right? And they get 3 paintings for one rental
Yeah.
price, right? If they want 6, they pay 12.
And it's original. It's got the bumps and the
Yeah, all the brush
paint
strokes are there, like all of that,
Yeah.
right? And also, if they really like one, then they can apply the rental to buying it,
Okay,
So
so
it
you
can
could the
be
rental
rent
payments
to
could be
own.
towards.
to buying it.
Wow.
Oh, so okay.
Go
sorry.
ahead, okay.
Oh, I'm just wondering, how do they pay on a monthly basis to rent?
Yeah,
or
for like a 3-month cycle.
minimum.
Yeah. Because otherwise I'd be driving around with my
Yeah,
car,
exactly. That's too
right?
much.
I have to find a balance, right?
Yeah.
I think 3 months is fair.
And
sure.
then let's say one of their clients really likes that painting and wants to buy it, well, then they would get a discount for their next rental,
Okay.
right? And then
Kind of like almost a commission because
kind
they,
of like
yeah.
a commission, but you get rental instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And
Still,
then,
it's a reward, right?
yeah, and then the other part is I donate 25% to a local charity of sorts. So, of course, for me, always was donated to the Science Center because that's
Sure.
near and dear. But in Salmon Arm, I had my art up at Tailor Made Wellness, and she wanted the money to go to Mamas for Mamas. So, right now I would set it up as the food bank here for,
Right.
especially through the winter time, which
Yeah.
is, the hardest time because you can't even grow anything. So, but then if they wanted a specific charity that was near to their heart, then I would donate 25% to that.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like a way of getting my art out on their walls, a way of getting an exchange because, artist dies of exposure,
Yes, yeah.
right? You know that one. And also, I really think exchange is important.
Yeah.
Like I just saw one, oh, well, we could put your art up on my walls. And I'm going, yeah, but you're a business and you sell stuff in your business. Could you not be part of that business supporting an artist, right?
Yeah.
And art rental is a good way to do it because they don't have to put out, $1,500 or $2,000 for a big painting. They can have it there for a shorter period of time, live with it, see if they like it. If not, then you get another one.
Right.
Right? And so that keeps me painting, keeps me in art supplies.
Do they get to choose? Like,
Yeah. I do have, I've been figuring all of this stuff out, right?
Yeah.
So I have on my computer all of the pictures, all the paintings, and then I'm going to put that into Publisher,
Okay, yeah.
right? As a JPEG. And
Build
then,
like a little catalog kind of a thing?
so it's
or-
a catalog of all of them, the prices and the sizes, because where you're going to put it depends.
You don't want to know
right?
the
You don't want to
size,
know.
yeah.
That's
A
not
picture
gonna
is not
fit
always
there,
representative.
right?
You can make a big
Exactly.
painting look pretty small.
Right, and other way around.
Exactly.
So I put the prices and the sizes, and I'm offering them wholesale pricing because they're not taking a commission, so they get to have that, right? So, and so what I'll do in Publisher is when they're rented, I'll just go in there and put rented over top of it, and I will be emailing those. So these I'm going to deliver, right, and see if I can talk to people, take their business cards, so I've got their information, and then I could send them the email
With the
what's
digital
there,
catalog,
right? And
yeah.
then that way, like some of these paintings are new. Once I photograph them all, then I can add that into it and send them an update. Oh, we have these paintings available. These ones have come back, that kind of thing. And right now I've got 2 paintings at the hospital, 5 paintings up Sun Peaks, 2 paintings in the gallery 365. No, 635. I'm bad with numbers.
But you're good with
right,
colors.
Right brain, right? Right brain. What's a 2? I don't know. Anyways, so I've had my stuff in the theater and at the airport and been involved. And I have a show coming up in April at the Art Council.
Nice.
So when I moved here, I just jumped in with both
Yeah.
feet, right? And just thought, I need to meet artists. I need to be connected.
We're thankful for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we are. I am.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, why not? Well, I would like, talking with the artists at the art show the other day at the gallery there, I want to do like a luncheon and invite artists and let's just meet for lunch and let's just talk and let's just see. I mean,
Okay.
this is an idea that I'm doing for myself, but that doesn't mean that other people couldn't also
True.
do it, or
Yeah.
maybe we expand it or whatever, and then pop-up shows and whatever. I was in Mark Kopp's gallery in the Kopp Gallery.
Oh, I'm so sad.
I
It's
am.
gone now?
Yeah, Mark wasn't well to keep going with
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
And so,
That's so
that was
cool.
such a loss because it was like walking into Alice in Wonderland or
I
something, right?
know. I was so inspired.
And so, that was a big loss. I keep getting my butterfly here. So I'm just trying to like fill that void a little bit. I was
Sure.
also asked to have my art in Stills & Co. and then they closed. So it's like, how do you get your art on the wall in Kamloops, right? And so with the realtors, because that's my second one, and I have one realtor already, who's purchased a couple of paintings. I don't know if she's actually doing the whole aspect of it and that, but I kind of working it out.
Is the intention
from
with
there.
realtors for them to use it for like their staging of homes, or
No, well, that I would be okay about that.
Sure.
Right?
But it's more for
That's
their
actually
offices.
a good idea. For their offices.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking is they give gifts, right?
That's true too. Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like a bottle of wine. Well, not everybody drinks wine, or once the bottle's gone, it's gone, right? Maybe they would like to buy a small painting
Sure.
as a gift, right? And they would get that again, like at the wholesale price. And then I would tuck in the back of the painting a coupon for the people that they're giving it to, if they wanted to purchase another one or commission another one, so that they would have it. And I'm thinking it's like a forever gift. It goes on their wall somewhere, and a small painting can fit just about anywhere. And I'm doing them all of local Kamloops landscape.
Okay.
I recognize that. That looks like Kamloops Lake.
That's actually up Aberdeen, from Aberdeen.
Oh, is that the... Am I confusing the sky for... Okay, no, that's
Yeah,
sky.
it's the sky.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I thought that was
it's
a
the
lake.
Sky. No, it was the sky with the moon. It's up Aberdeen. My son lives up Aberdeen.
Oh, okay.
And my friend Gail drives me around all over the place and, oh, stop, I like that picture. And I go and take pictures. So now I can do that. I don't have to just do it in my head, right? And then, yeah, so I've really been enjoying some of the dead trees that are all craggly.
Yeah, nice textures and
Right, I really like branches and trees and stuff. And
Yeah.
one of it, I kind of look at it as it's like my still standing series.
Right.
You know, I'm 70 this year, so I'm still standing. I'm still doing it, right? And I kind of look at those trees and go, they're off a perch for birds, you know, different kinds of things. And I just really like the way they kind of silhouette against the landscape. And
Yeah.
yeah, and since Kamloops is less colorful in general, except for that sky,
in some
of
ways,
course,
yeah, for sure, yeah.
from say Salmon Arm or Enderby, I've gone more into texture.
Yeah.
And I've been like the one up there of the aspen. It
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
has a lot of texture in it, and I've painted in behind first, like the texture first, and then painted the painting over top of the texture.
Right. Oh, really? Okay, cool.
And then I use a little bit of gold leaf and silver leaf and stuff in the kind of picks up the light and makes them a little bit magical.
Yeah, yeah.
That one with the waterfall that's no water in it is from the pond,
Oh, really?
out at the pond. And when I was painting it, I thought I better maybe call this No Drought About It.
That's funny. You're so punny. Will you talk about this centerpiece here?
Okay,
I love the frame.
This is one that I painted after my mom passed away, kind of in homage to women and my mother and the lineage of all of that. And I lived under the cliffs in Enderby, and there's this big giant's head that you can see on the side of the cliffs, at least I can see. And I tend to see figures in the hills and that kind of thing. So this is kind of part of like Earth divas and
Right.
and the goddess kind of imagery of the triple goddess,
Yeah,
Moon,
yeah.
Mother, and Crone. And then the frame is made from like paper mache pulp.
I love that.
And I did quite a few of those, but they're very fragile.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They look
they're very
pretty,
fragile.
sturdy.
So mostly what I've gone to doing is painting around the edges of all my paintings, so that you don't need to frame them right away.
Right,
You can
yeah,
frame
yeah.
them, but I kind of make them so that, you know, they're finished around
Yeah,
the edges.
I like that look too.
You know.
And you pick a thicker canvas. Some of them are a little.
Yeah. I prefer that. I don't know why.
Do you stretch your own canvases?
I'm not saying I do now because I'm old, but I
But
have.
you have.
In fact,
So much work, though.
well, I'll tell you a funny story. In 2019, another artist, Rebecca Shepherd, and I went back to Grenada. We had done this painting together that was up at the Cop Gallery of two women with a seed. I don't know if you saw that. Anyways, it was a really big painting at the back. And as I painted the seed, I started telling her how we had sent a ton of seeds and relief supplies to Grenada after the hurricane in 2004. And how I always wanted to go back to Grenada. Tony didn't want to go back, and she goes, "I go with you." And I'd be like, "You what?" So we did a show in Kelowna, and as soon as we had enough money to buy tickets, we bought tickets. We didn't know where we were staying.
Just go.
Where we're just going to go, right? And then I kept in touch with my friends in Grenada, and we ended up right next door to the house that we lived in when Tony and I lived there. And we painted murals at schools, a little elementary school, a mural in my friend's house. we painted our own paintings, and we did a show. But our paintings were just on canvas, taped on the wall again.
Right.
So we had to make our own stretchers down there. So we did it very Grenadian style, where we just matched them and put an L bracket in the corner and then staple gunned them on and everything, right? And Rebecca had done this very big painting of a tree. And so our friends were like going from one side to the other to staple it. And finally they get to the corner, and this one young guy just kind of munched it all up. And he says, no, you don't do it like that. You fold it like a diaper. And he goes, I only know Pampers. So you just had this kind of laughing and all of that kind of stuff. But then it was easy to take apart afterwards. And we left all the wood and the tools and everything there, right? So
it seems like, you were talking about when you were first in Grenada, you were originally, I guess, a potter, and then shifted to painting, and then you're talking about like stretching your own canvases. Like, it doesn't seem like you have any fear of jumping into a new medium or trying something new. You just sort of dive in head first.
I taught
almost.
high school.
Yeah, is that all it takes
That's all it takes, because every day some kid wants to come, something different.
Yeah.
Can we do this? Can we do that? And I would say, well, I don't have a clue, but let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was always open to trying new things. And because I taught grade 8 to 12, you couldn't do the same thing every year. You couldn't have a day book and I'm at the same place in the day book, right? Like, I was like, day book? Anyways, so I would, I had a pottery wheel, one of them. I had computers in the back room, kids doing computer animation. What? I developed a career prep media program from nothing, back in the days, Super VHS and jog shuttles and all of that kind of stuff, right? And yeah, if you're fearful, you're stopping yourself. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, other than, I was wondering if you had like tips for someone who's like, they want to get started in art, but they're afraid. They don't feel confident.
Imposter syndrome.
Other than teaching high school, what could they try to like get over that?
Okay, I would recommend an online workshop. I don't know if she's still doing them, with this woman named Chris Seidel, and she did a workshop called Painting with Fire, and it was all about take up space. Throw paint on that painting, get the brush, grab that paint, so you weren't trying to paint something. You were just reaching, grabbing whatever brush you got. And what does the paint do? Spray it, let it run, do this, turn it upside down, right? And just kind of let go of all of that. I think part of it is just experiment.
Yeah.
There's lots online, and I think that a lot of people get caught up and they have to do somebody's technique or whatever, or it has to look just like it. I taught that in school because high school kids want to do
that.
They want to do realism, right? So I would do the grid thing where they would have to draw around all the highlights and shadows. Usually we did food like sundaes and stuff like that, and then they had to match the lightness and darkness of the color,
right?
And like all of those kind of things. But that's painful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where people get stuck with art, is they get stuck in the pain of it. And so you just have to let that go and not really have an outcome. Like, I see some artists, and I totally respect how they do it, but they can have like one corner of their canvas, this is all white, and that's finished.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that. For me, I start with a big brush and I fill the whole canvas because I need to see it all, right? And then I work my way up to the finer brushes. Yeah. I have a painting that's partly finished in my studio, so I can show you kind of...
Oh, sort of like you see how you would have probably midway through.
Where I'm going to go with it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I try to let the painting tell me what to do. Like, I'll go away from it. I always say to my students, back up. You get too close-itis. Turn it upside down.
Well, a technique that I've noticed my mom has done, she's self-taught herself, but she would paint and then take her painting and look at it
in a mirror. Yeah,
because it
does, and it shows you where the balance is out, right? I always try to teach the kids, like, there's two kinds of balance. There's formal balance, where there's the two, one side to the other, and some people do that kind of artwork amazing. It's not my thing. But there's informal balance, where you might have something smaller by a whole bunch of other stuff on the other side that balances it out. It's not going to fall over, but it's not mirror image, right?
Yeah.
And so by taking it to a mirror or turning it upside down, what you're doing is you're turning off the left side of the brain that sits there going, that's not good enough, that sucks, or it is good enough, or whatever, right? And so it turns that off, and then you go, oh, that needs to be balanced over here, or it needs purple, or whatever it is. And let the canvas tell you.
Do you ever let other people tell you?
That's a really funny story. Because my friend Rebecca in Grenada would take pictures as she's going, and she had these people phoning, stop right now, right? Because they already saw it, right? And she was like, don't tell me what to do.
Right, yeah.
Right?
So they would see it and be like, it looks done to me, but
right?
She's still got someplace to go with it.
She still had places to go with it, right? I don't know.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, go away. This is my art.
Yeah, there's that part of it. And also I think I never know where it's going.
Right.
Even if I'm working from a photograph, I still let it be, just because that thing is in the photograph doesn't mean I have to put it in the painting.
Right.
Right? Or move it around or whatever.
Just because something isn't in the photograph doesn't mean you can't put it in the painting.
Exactly. And I do some kind of paintings like that are kind of collage in. I'd have to get a drink of water.
Oh, sure.
Maybe we could start doing a walk.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, go get your water.
Excuse me.
Do you want to just take the camera cage off, or?
Sure.
Because I can show you one of those pieces.
We do a little bit of this guy here, and then you push this in, and then we slide that back.
I know.
And
Okay, you're going to be host guy, and I'll be camera guy.
all right.
Okay.
Are you good? Do we need to hang on? Push forward. Now back. There we go.
We did it.
We did it mostly painlessly.
The other thing that I like to do is hide things in paintings sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So if we look at this one here, there's actually a profile in here. Can you see her?
Oh, like a face?
There's a nose, there's her lips, there's her eye. So she's just barely in there.
Oh,
I'm struggling.
Forehead, eye, nose.
Okay, yeah, I got it now.
Oh,
I was trying to see it the other way, like
Yeah,
she was
me
looking
too.
that
Yeah.
way. But yeah, no, I got it now.
Right?
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
I like to mess with people's minds
Yeah.
a little bit.
Do you have any of your art in books?
Well, I've been published in art cards or tarot. I have a tarot deck. The Pearls of Wisdom Tarot got published in 2007. I have my Sacred Feminine Oracle deck, and it's also an app.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So that's out of a guy out of France. And that's my friend Rebecca. That's her chicken. That's
Oh, I love that chicken.
Yeah. And then,
Hi, Todd. That's Todd. He's also
Yeah,
a
there we
beautiful
go.
work of art.
Oh, thank
there
you.
we go.
Okay. Are we gonna? Well, first of all, I would love to see your tarot card.
Okay, yeah,
series,
I have those
but
too.
I would love to hear.
How did the tarot card
backstory.
thing come about?
That was kind of an interesting thing. When I came back from Grenada and my mom passed away, I had been doing these paintings. I have a whole bunch of dolls from all around. Being the artist, I painted them really big, 30 by 40 and 24 by 36. Like,
It's an unwieldy deck of cards.
Who does that, right? And also didn't understand aspect ratio or anything like that.
Right.
So, took me 7 years. And then I got published in 2007 from a company named Seventh House. And so they made it around the world, like, right? And then they found out that most of the cards were flawed. So 9,000 of them ended up in the Houston landfill.
Oh,
so that
no.
was very gutting.
Was that like
You
a
can
printing
imagine.
error or
Printing error. They had bubbles and
I'm
stuff like that.
So hurt for you.
So they reprinted a second edition that was minimally better
Yeah.
than the first edition. And then eventually I took my rights back and I've self-published it. And my son helped me with all that, with all the setup and layout and
Nice.
and all of that kind of stuff. So it's now through a company called The Game Crafter in the United States. And it's a print on demand. So it's print
Okay.
to order.
Yep.
And then they'll ship internationally. So those have sold all over, and it's actually a copy is in the Tarot Museum in Brussels.
Wow. Very cool.
So and I'm doing a presentation at StarCon, which is I'm not going, but it's in Florida this year, and so I'm doing that on symbolism, because that's actually what my main interest in it was was symbolism.
Yeah.
And it's full of symbolism. And I also didn't look at other decks.
Right.
I read a lot of books and I made notes and everything. And then I used the language of flowers. I used runes,
Okay.
crystals, color, all of those kind of things. And I didn't follow any other
Yeah.
but I did follow the structure of the tarot, like the order of things.
Sure.
Everything that it means. And I've
fun.
just put them for sale in the last year.
Kelsey, turn off your phone.
I know, I'm trying.
I just put them for sale in the last year. And
hang up, please. Sorry. Sorry.
cheers. And I've sold 10 so far, and they've gone to New York and Pennsylvania and California and Vermont and Maryland and West Vancouver and Armstrong.
Wow.
So they've gone around, and I have one up in the show there, and then they will be on my website so that people can do payments on them.
Right.
And then I'll ship them. So I have the textures and all the layers of when they built this and then plastered over it and like all of that. So I call this one Stepping Through Time.
Nice.
And I did a show at the Science Center.
Love all the little lizards.
Yeah, they're my favorite there. I did a show at the Science Center where we actually went in and painted the walls cosmic so that when you stood in front of them, it would look like you're looking through the painting.
Very cool.
And the bottom was water, makes it sparkle and
Yeah.
kind of magical.
Lots of contrast in this
Yeah.
one. I love it. Very beautiful.
And then this one's local here, and I've gone, instead of color, I've gone into the texture.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I put all the texture on first, and then that's kind of the last thing. So you have to have patience when you paint like that because it only gives you that effect at the very end.
Yeah.
Right? And so this is kind of, and this is another one with a figure in it. So here's her eyes and her nose and her mouth. And her hand comes up to hold that butterfly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Right? And her other hand comes down here for this butterfly. And then she's modestly covered
Nice.
in the rest, right? So this
Do you
was...
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was going to ask, do you have a favorite painting?
Yeah, but it's in my bedroom.
Okay.
I'm not
Well,
going to show you.
Oh, because you're, yeah.
I'll
husband's
get it
in
at the
there.
end if you want.
okay.
It's actually one of my first paintings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is my studio, my messy studio. I like to work in a mess. I'm
Yeah.
kind of neurodivergent that way, so
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not
I can relate.
We get
You
that.
know, I am not OCD in any ways. So these ones where I was looking out across the way, you can't see today.
Right.
And I saw the figure in the hills.
Yeah,
And then I went,
yeah, yeah.
okay, I'm home, right? I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah.
the goddess in the hills, right? Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then this one here actually was when I was in Grenada last. And this woman came up to me in a chocolate shop because Grenada has the best chocolate.
Okay.
And she was telling me all about how they do the chocolate and everything. And then I went into this back room to look at dresses, and she comes, take a picture of me in my hat, right? And take a selfie with me. So I had to paint her afterwards.
Yeah, I know. There's
So-
so much character on the face there. Yeah.
So I called that one the Chocolate Shop Madonna for quite a while. She just had a halo around.
Right.
And then my friend who's from Grenada and part of a group I'm involved called Just Care Back, which sends packages to Grenada and that kind of thing. She goes, I want that painting. You've got to, you have to will it to me or whatever, right? And so I made her a smaller version. And she says, it just reminds me of all my aunties, right?
Right.
So that's kind of a neat one.
You know how to make wrinkles look really flattering. It's beautiful.
Yeah, she was just a beautiful woman, and
Yeah.
it was just an honor to paint her. And I can't sell that one, right?
Right,
And
no,
I
of
don't
course
even know
not.
if I could rent it to somebody.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I don't know I could let that one go.
I was gonna,
And then this one is a self portrait
Okay.
Oh,
in there, and I'm kind of hidden
you're
in
so
there.
cute. That's beautiful.
I did this whole figurative series, so that was
Right, okay, sure.
So, and I tend to work in series.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like to kind of get my mind into something. And
You
then-
get stuck on a thing for a little while, or
not stuck.
Not stuck.
I'm exploring.
okay, sure, fair enough.
Right? What it is one is never enough. I'm one of
Right,
those
you become
people.
fascinated by a thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Gallery wise, it's more interesting to have like a series. And
Yeah, and then when you set stuff up, it's
Cohesive.
all part of it. Like so, these two pieces or three pieces here are part of the Cosmos series,
Sure. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And they were in the Science Center as well. And then this one's kind of, I was at a funeral when I was there. And this girl was holding all the flowers because that's what they do. They put tons and tons of flowers on top of the grave. And I thought they had the hurricane, then you had COVID, you have all this. Her future was no longer what she thought it was going to be. Right. And so that was kind of like flowers for the future.
Yeah.
Right. And and then this is the one that I'm working on. And it is more...
Oh, this is a different
more
style.
Realistic, more style.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about with being changed. But it will change. This is kind of mid-painting, right?
Okay.
I will get more layers on it, more texture on it. And...
Are you about 80% finished with this one? Or
yeah, maybe 70, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere in there. It's almost there, but I like the reflection part of it. And this
Me
is
too.
When I was going up to the mountain to take my artwork. There's a little lake at the side, so I pulled over and took a picture. So kind of working from that.
Yeah, this definitely looks like towards Paul Lake or towards Heffley Lake. I can definitely see
it's one of those
Kamloops
lakes
here.
as you go up there. Yeah.
Is it ever a struggle to say I'm done, or are you tempted to just sort of keep adding, keep playing?
Yeah,
Is it...
I'm one of those kind of people. More is more,
Yeah.
I do have a bit of times, and then sometimes I'll come back to it. Like that one, I actually finished. I thought it was finished, and then I came back and added a bit more on the top, just because I thought it needed to reach more for the sky. That kind of thing.
Right.
And,
Lots of depth.
And that's the other thing that I like. I really like to create depth.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that comes from the 3D background.
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like, to me, plasticine.
Yeah.
Like-
It could be made up as a relief, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And here's
let's look at this.
here's
like
the tarot
my,
one here.
Oh, I guess. I have more
that's
favorite.
that's a really big card. That would be an unwieldy deck.
So this is the world. And
Okay.
this is the last card in the Major Arcana.
Okay.
And there's 21 cards in the Major Arcana, and they're the kind of
21
greater
at the top there.
sequence, right? And this card is about completion. So she's made it all the way around. She's made her journey through the majors. The pearls are in homage to my mother, whose name is Margaret, and that means pearls. And she used to wear a pearl necklace. And then when... in her last days, she gave me this necklace, and I looked at the pearl, and you could see all the layers of nacre and that little grain of sand in the middle, right? And I thought, oh, that's probably that grain of sand,
And look at the,
Yeah. And just the idea of basically overcoming adversity.
Yeah. Right.
Right? And so, and as we go, we gain wisdom in doing that, right? And then, we can share that wisdom with other people. And I think that's the critical thing. I guess that's the teacher in me, is like, you learn something. It's great for you to do it for yourself, but it's also really great to do it for somebody else, or teach somebody else how to do it, or, carry on, right? Because you're only here for a finite length of time.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
it's kind of like reaching back and helping the next person, and then, that kind of thing. And I used to be a tap dancer. I actually was in a class here, but I had to leave because I hurt my ankle.
Oh, no.
But from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so she's tap dancing on the cloud because she's made it. She's been able to lift herself up and hold herself up. She's like the cheerleading, and I used to cheerlead for the BC Lions when I was young and beautiful. And
you still are.
Well, I'm old now, but I'll take the beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Part. And so, she's stepping through into the universe, which is like has infinite possibilities.
Sure.
Like anything can happen, right? And so that's kind of what she's all about, and she's kind of balanced her masculine and feminine energies. A lot of this painting, this whole series is about balance. And this is like when I was talking about formal balance, it's like on both sides, And then these are the runes that I used. So that's wholeness or soluble. I'm not really sure even how to pronounce them. But anyway, so there's different Dagas is breakthrough. And so the different runes add more symbolism to the story.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then I think she has roses, so she has red and white roses, so that's creative energy. So I had a book called The Tussie Mussies that told me all the different meanings of all the different flowers. And so I would put the flowers in there that added to the meaning of the card, because you're supposed to read cards. So you need to read...
You interpret the images.
Exactly, right? So this is my deck. It's the Pearls of Wisdom Tarot.
Oh my gosh.
And
People can buy this?
yeah, they can buy it. It's
Where?
on through my website.
Okay.
Roxy RoxyArtwork.com.
Artwork.com.
ROXI artwork.
Yes.
Right.
And then let's see if I can find. This was from the first edition. Oh, it's very different
so
things,
beautiful,
right?
though.
Like whatever. And
So they're all different.
so they're all different. Every card is different. So it took me
Gosh.
7 years to create this
Yeah.
series.
I mean, if they're all that big,
Right.
I would imagine.
Well, I have 2 more in the back actually I could pull out that are the minor arcana. They're a little smaller.
Okay.
And I wish I had understood aspect ratio at that time, but I didn't.
Can you explain?
Aspect ratio?
Yes.
It's okay. You're making something that's this big by this big, then your original has to have the same. So if this is 3 by 5, this can be 6 by 10,
30 by 50.
30 by 50. But if it's 24 by 36, it's not the same aspect
Yeah.
ratio.
So
then
it's gonna
you either have to
stretch.
stretch it one way or the other, and
Yeah.
you did have to
And
do
you
that.
can't, yeah, you can't have
Yeah,
a square
and
on
you
a
can
rectangle.
see how that works shrunk down.
Yes,
Right?
so cool.
Right?
Oh my gosh, I just absolutely love the colors. Very whimsical.
That's kind of what I wanted
Yeah.
to make it. It's
I love how the
one of-
cards have been able to like maintain how vibrant the image is.
Yeah, and again, that's my son doing that. And we photographed these with a Zeiss lens, the paintings with a Zeiss lens, which is a really sharp lens. And then, because he knows all the computer stuff to get
Sure.
the colors right and all that kind of stuff. And none of this would be without my son Brown. Like, just, it wouldn't exist, right?
Yeah.
You want to say hello to your son right
Hi,
now?
Brown. Love you. Thank you.
Hi.
Give you cheers.
Hello.
Level
Thank
Up
you.
Enterprises. If other artists need his help, because he's worked. Do you know Stace DeWolf? Did you know Wolfman?
Oh yeah, he's so popular.
Oh, yeah.
He's done his website and all that kind of stuff for him. And he's
Cool.
moved away now.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so he's done his stuff, and he's done other artists' work as well in Salmon Arm. And,
Nice.
Yeah, he's got his own
You know.
unique style as well.
yeah. So that's that. If you do you want to see a couple of the other ones I've got?
No kidding.
Okay. The minor arcana.
Ooh.
So
it's smaller.
you can see it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Right. And why I did that, I don't know. Because I was thinking as an
Minor.
artist, right? I wasn't thinking as a printer. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
And so this is the Queen of Cups, and the cups are the sign of water, or the element of water.
Sure.
And emotions. So she's sitting out there, putting her feet in the water, just, connected to nature and going with the flow, that kind of thing. Peaceful doves and her fish and the red roses for love. And so, like,
Very feminine.
all of that kind of thing that you put together with the symbols that are
Yeah.
in there, right? And the rose quartz and all of that kind of stuff, and just kind of choose from there.
I'm gonna guess this is all acrylic, or do you use oil? Or
Yeah, it's acrylic. Oils give me headaches, unfortunately.
yeah.
I've tried using oils, and also I'm a little impatient,
Yeah, it takes so freaking
right?
long
And
to.
oils take a long time to dry.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you have so much time to like second guess the process.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Well, the other thing that I've done, which is another change since I moved here, is I've been buying my art supplies at the Perfect Framing, I think it's called, and they have like a lot of different art supplies and paints and everything in there. So I've changed the paints that I'm using.
Okay.
And I find they're closer to oils in a lot of ways.
interesting.
In terms of how the colors are and how they kind of stay wet a bit longer,
Okay.
so that you can do more blending.
So it's like a little sweet spot between the two
Yeah,
almost.
just kind of between the two, and also different colors. So I'm kind of changing from, I was doing all these bright colors, kind of candy colors, and
Yeah.
emerald greens and pinks and everything like that, and now kind of moving into the more earthy tones and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's part of the change with the show as well, right? Like
Right.
I've gone from, and I was, with all these candy colors, I was using a paint from Vancouver called Chroma, which is actually made in Vancouver. And I still use their paints as well. And then sometimes I use golden paints.
Right.
So I'm just kind of,
Golden,
kind of going through all of the different things. But one I like, this ones that I've got, what are they called here? They're called M. Graham and Company. What I do like about them is that when you put it out, it's ready to paint. You don't have to add, you don't have to mix, you don't have to, add water to it or thin
It's
it
just good
down
to
or
go.
anything. It's just
Yeah.
good to go, right? And And the pricing is, well, there we go. That's why I want to rent, because
There you go.
$15, $20 for a little tube,
Yeah.
right? And depends on the color too. Some colors are more expensive than other colors, and
I guess the things that go into making that color would be maybe more expensive or whatever. Which
it's the pigments, right?
Yeah.
Usually it's the pigments that go into it,
Yeah.
and then how much pigment they have to put in the binder to get the color as well, right? So, yeah, things like cadmiums are usually more expensive.
Really? Okay.
But there's no match for a cadmium.
No.
Right? Like,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
no,
It sure sounded like you did, though.
Yeah, well, I'm good at pretending.
you can have all these different reds, but if you're doing a skin tone, or you're doing, I don't know, it's just a different red. There's a richness to it.
Sure.
There's a depth to it that other colors don't. And some colors are translucent, and some colors are opaque.
Yeah.
Right? So you're kind of playing that, and the translucent ones you can make opaque by adding white to them,
Yeah.
then you tint them. So there's like just so many different aspects about it. And so I'm not, to any particular brand, although I did use Chroma for many, many years. These are all Chroma paints.
Okay.
Out of, because
They
the guy
look
who
good.
started Chroma was from Enderby.
There you go.
And I used to use Chroma in my classroom because it was a reasonable paint price for students.
Yeah.
But it wasn't student paint. So like
Right,
student
right,
paint, you have like
right.
6 layers and you can still see the paper through it.
Gotcha.
And I always thought, if you don't give kids good materials, they're not going to get good results no matter how talented they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If you give them toilet paper to work on, it's going to disappear,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So I found that I could get that paint at a good price and get my kids painting with that, and they had a good, and they were super light fast. Like some of the things I painted in Grenada, I painted outside and stuff like that are still bright and
Yeah.
all the years. And the mural in Enderby is all Chroma paint.
Oh, wow.
And that's been out since on the back of the City Hall there since the year 2000.
Yeah. And it's still looking...
And it still looks just as bright as when
Wow.
we painted it. So it really has that light fastness, which is what you want in a good quality paint. I've done some things watercolor and you put them near a window and you come back, a
they
year
just fade.
later and the color's faded and that kind of thing, right?
Wow.
So you got to be aware of what the color fastness of things.
Totally,
as well,
yeah.
right? I'm also a little bit in the favor of, Emily Carr. She painted on brown paper bags, and now they have to spend all this inspect. They can work at it a little bit to keep it looking.
Yeah, they can put in the effort. Why not?
They can
Yeah.
do that, right? Because there's so much money to make it all, archival or whatever,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And I just do what I do, right? And
So we are at 1 hour already.
Wow.
Time
Okay.
flies when you're having fun. We don't have to stop now.
Okay.
But we can.
Do you want to see my favorite painting? Then?
Yes, let's do
Okay.
that.
I'll
What
just go
a
back.
great
You can
note
look
to
at
end
this
on.
and I'll just-
We will not invade your bedroom, though.
We
Okay.
can talk about...
Whatever you
farts.
want, we could.
Oh, I told myself not to.
Well, so I do have one more question, but I'll maybe wait till she comes back so she can hear me.
What did you...
So, because you have dabbled in, it sounds like, a number of different mediums, from the pottery to theater to painting, which are all sort of very different in the kind of art that they are. What would you say is like the one through line that is true of all kinds of artistic expression?
Wow.
And is there something?
Good.
Okay.
Thank you,
Well, I
Kelsey.
think for me, my artistic expression was triggered very young. I was my mom had another kid and it was a boy and I wasn't too impressed. And
You wanted a sister.
I wanted a sister.
Aw.
And so she put me in tap dancing
Okay.
with Grace McDonald School of Dance in Vancouver. And I tap danced on the Queen Elizabeth Theatre when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
So in the back of the theater, are all the props, are all the costumes, are all of the artwork, the backdrops that come down. So all of that impressed my little brain hugely in that it's all connected. Whether it's the painting, whether it's sewing the costume, whether it's the choreography, whether it's the lighting, all of those things come together.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I taught school, my kids would do the backdrops for the stage sets, and my sewing kids would make the costumes. And so I kind of have this holistic thing, and maybe that's why I can go from one to another to another, because I've done that.
Yeah.
And I just made.
And you can also see, in the bigger picture, how it's related to.
Yeah, I don't see any boundaries.
Yeah.
between them.
Right.
Right? And and things flow from one to the other. So I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to go get a sculpture and show you how that went. That's the Sleeping Goddess.
Is this your favorite one?
Yeah.
And you said this was one of your first, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Because skill-wise, I think it's always... I was expecting something rougher on your first painting, but this is just as well done as your latest painting.
And this is the sculpture of that.
And this is the sculpture.
Which came first?
The sculpture.
Oh my god.
Really? Interesting.
You made this, obviously.
Yeah.
By how many years, or by how many...
Oh, that would be back in the 90s.
This
Okay.
is beautiful. How come it's all dark here?
Okay, because it's primitive fired. So I burnished it. There's no glaze on that. You burnish it with the rock and make it, and then I fired it in sawdust and pit fired it. So I went right back to that kind of thing too.
Wow.
And we would fire raku firings and salt firings and electric firings.
That must have been fun, though.
Oh yeah, we had a studio in Enderby for 25 years.
I freaking love that.
So I took from and
Very sentimental and thoughtful.
Yeah.
Everything's well thought out. Like, I'm so impressed. Just the
thank you.
detail.
yeah, and so kind of went from one to the other, and yeah. So sometimes I still go back a little bit to clay, and I'm happy that the art party is there because
For sure, yeah.
you know, I was able to go over there and throw and find out after 25 years I could still do it, right?
Yeah, and don't have to clean up.
Kind of like
Would you teach there?
I have taught there actually. I taught the teachers there. I did a one where I taught all of them, and then I did one. There's a Kamloops Women's Social, so half a dozen of those women got together and I taught them, and so and I would do one-on-ones or whatever if anybody wanted to do that, right? And I was surprised after sitting down and going, I can still throw, right? Like, it's kind of like riding a bike in a way. You still need to get your practice and your, finesse back and everything like that. But it's definitely, a process. So, and then this was all hand building. I did a lot of hand building and sculptural pieces. So you can really see how that went into it and then how that kind of plays out in my other artwork with.
Are you at the art gallery by chance? In Kamloops?
No, not at the art gallery. No.
Do we not have an art gallery?
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple of...
But you have to apply
have
for
the-
that, and usually they're bringing in, shows from other places.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. But I will be having a show at the Art Council at the courthouse in April.
Okay.
I get the little alcove gallery, which is about as big as this room, maybe a little bigger than this room. And I'm going to do the Winds of Change, my still standing trees and local landscape pieces for that one.
Okay.
And and then I have 2 pieces in this show, the celebration, and that's at the gallery downtown.
635,
Yeah, and I think you guys should meet Deb. I'll give you her card afterwards.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Because she sets this all up and does like a group show and then a single show and then a group show and then a single show, and kind of gives it a bit of theme and stuff that you kind of go with, and really nice. And it's been a nice way for me to meet other artists
For sure,
in town,
yeah,
right?
I bet.
And that's kind of thing when you move to a new place. It's like, who is everybody and where did they play? And I want to play too.
And that's why Facebook is so great.
And that's why Facebook is so good. And the other thing that I've done since I've been here is I created the Dinner Divas group. And what that is a group of women, and we go to a different restaurant every month. And so I have a website or a page on Facebook, and I say, okay, these are some ones to choose from, and we do a little poll, and whichever one wins, we go to. And some people show up this time, next time, it's always a ever-changing group of people.
Right.
But it's really good for people who are moved here, people that are single, people that are want to escape their spouse for whatever reason.
For sure.
And we've had grandmas and granddaughters there, and like all ages in between. And it's just been a way for, like, one of the women's lost her husband, and she says, I just want to get out, but I don't want to go by myself. And so it's kind of like a safe place, and it's like you're just having a really nice meal and conversation, right? So my next thing to do is an artist divas, and try and get the artists together and just go maybe do a luncheon. And then just talk about, like, I don't really know all the stuff that's here. I don't know where you can hang. I've figured out quite a bit of stuff in the time that I've been here.
Well, how about Art We Are? Have you gone there?
Yeah, I actually had my art in the Art We Are, and I did tarot readings there, actually. Because
Oh,
I
nice.
like those little cubbies.
Yes.
Right? And then when I was in Mark's gallery, he asked us to take them out because he didn't want anybody in the same area. Right?
Oh, that makes sense.
Right? And so I haven't gone back yet
Yeah.
to see if I can get my way back in.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure Christina
sure
would let
they
me do
will.
that, but I kind of got caught up with getting the ones up at the mountain. So I've got quite a large one in a series of 3, and then another one up the mountain at Sun Peaks.
Right.
And I've sold one so far, so
Nice.
hoping that will keep happening.
Sure.
So I can buy more paints.
Sun Peaks would be a great place to sell your work,
Yeah.
your artwork, like at the Grand Hotel.
I'm in the Grand Hotel. I'm at the
perfect.
bottom of the stairs there when you come in. So there's 3 paintings of mine there. So yeah, and I've just been like, I try not to be like, I'm coming in to take over your space, because, the arts can be, territorial. Let's just put it that way. I'm more, what can we do together?
Yeah.
How can we collaborate? How can we, and I'm all about on Facebook, I share other people's posts and, that kind of thing as well, because I think that as artists, we should be supporting each other.
For
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's great.
Yeah.
I kind of got her photographing her work, and now she does sublimation mugs and prints and all of those kind of things so that she can stretch out her sales. And I'm fortunate to be retired and have a bit of a teacher's pension. It kind of goes back to 95 when I got sick, but I can pay my rent and eat, right? But she lives completely off of her art.
Wow.
And she does extremely well, but she puts in so much work to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I was just like, how can I help you get more people out there, more audience, all of that kind of stuff, right?
Totally, yeah.
And she's,
That's very sweet of you.
and that's what I would like to do here, right? Like,
And when you do that for others, others will do that for you. It will come back.
yeah, I think it does come back. And I've done so many things community-wise, from Salmon Arm to Enderby to Vernon, and, and I don't know, community is, I guess that's my politics. We can all get caught up in left, right, and up and down.
But what's
and
good
whatever.
for the community?
But what's good for the community, and how can, even if you just help one person, that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And just, and I think the arts are really important. For me, it's been therapy. I know that I probably wouldn't be here if I hadn't done that project, right?
For sure.
Because I was just so depressed. And like what I've said before, I painted what I needed to see.
Yeah.
So even the difficult cards, of which there are a few, I still kind of painted a way out.
Yeah, for sure.
The only way out is through, but there's a way out, right? And so that's kind of where I took it, and it was actually called one of the most optimistic decks out there. It was uplifting, and yet it still had a depth and profundity to it for people. And it kind of reads itself, and it isn't one of those ones where you put down the death card and somebody freaks out, because my death card is nothing like the death card in any other deck.
And again, because in the tarot, the death card doesn't necessarily even mean death.
So it's the dropping of one thing and stepping into another,
yeah.
right? And I don't know, I'll just whip through, see if I can quickly find it. I wish they would just jump out, but they're not that magic.
Do you have any final thoughts you want to share as you look for the death card?
Well, I think that, life is
That's
like
a weird
that.
thing to say,
But life is like that, right? You're stepping from one thing into another. So really, the death card was my leaving Salmon Arm and my friends.
Yeah.
And all of that. And I did have some anxiety.
Sure.
And moving into an apartment, which I have never lived in an apartment before. And there she is. And stepping into a whole new world.
Right.
So that is the death card.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Oh, that's really beautiful.
Wow. That looks like life to me.
And that does look like, a transition, right? A change.
Right? And that's what it is. It's like
leaving behind a thing.
She's dropped her mask, that way that things used to be, and
Right,
she's stepping
I
into
love
something
that.
new. And and I think this one's in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of the ones to sell so far.
Wow.
So that's kind of what I think moving here was. It's like the winds of change, not all change is good, but change is inevitable.
Change is inevitable,
Right?
whether good or bad. Yeah.
You know, and then this year I turned 70, so I embraced that. I partied for a whole month. I got cake everywhere I went.
Oh,
Nice.
you're one of those who celebrates their birthday the whole month. Oh,
Yes.
man.
I did the whole month. Had my toes done with my granddaughter.
Oh, you
and
diva.
Foods out, dinner, lunch, and all sorts of stuff. Just, yeah.
You
totally.
don't look 70, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Well, we celebrating
Celebratory, yeah.
celebratory because, you know, 6 years ago,
Wasn't sure you were.
I wasn't even sure. When I went to see the guy who did me the treatment and everything in Salmon Arm, he did all my vitals and said, "I'm surprised you're still alive." And I said, "Yeah, I am too." So,
Wow, that's
so
uplifting.
you know, so I've come through this,
Yeah.
right? And now it's like I know the road ahead is shorter than my road behind, but I've left a trail,
For sure.
right? And my son is going to get stuck with all the paintings, and I don't know, maybe he'll have to have a sale somehow. Maybe he'll do better than I will. But that's kind of how I looked at moving to Kamloops. It's like I'm stepping into this. I get to see my grandkids more, and I will meet more people, right? I've never really had trouble making friends. So just kind of get out there and do that, and then see what's happening in the art realm, and paint and play.
We're grateful for you to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, because there's a lot of artists that are shy and we don't know like how to get out there and we're scared.
Yeah.
But thank you. Thank you for offering a space for
shyness
us.
Isn't part, no, but that's good. I'm good. And thank you for coming and doing
Yeah.
this. I really
Thank you for having
appreciate
us.
it, you know,
Hope the road ahead of you is not, too short and still full of some adventure for you.
Yeah. Well, my granny lived to 98 and a half.
There you
I
go.
have, my dad was 94, so I got some longevity on both sides. But I just am living in the moment. I'm enjoying my moments, right? I'm really enjoying being with my grandkids and doing stuff like at the art party with them.
Sure,
and,
yeah,
And
of
the
course.
T-shirts with Tristan and all of that kind of stuff. And being able to get some of the stuff that's in here out into their heads, right? Because I did it for everybody else's kids. It's kind of nice to be able to do it
For your own,
my own kids, right? And grateful for my son who helps me do the marketing part and all of this kind of stuff. Because,
Do you want to tell your husband how much you love him, even though he's right next door in the room?
he's right next door in the room. Okay. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
It's been a trip. We're
Nice meeting you.
We're going to be married 47 years this year.
Congratulations.
47. Yeah.
All right.
Through thick and thin, literally.
I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you again so much for taking the time to hang with us today and showing your work.
And pick a card, any card. You can have one of my.
Oh, beautiful.
One of my cards here. Yeah, you can have any one of those cards. And then there's also some really nice prints here if you want to print.
I like that one.
Prints and originals. Ooh, very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use a company named Moo. And so I've got these. So you can pick one of these if you would like to take a... You can go through. There's the Sleeping Goddess. Do you want her?
Oh, I can't take your art.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Thank you. Sure, I'll take... Of course. I can't... I mean... Ooh.
Yeah, would you like one?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, there's a death card.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, death is good. No, it's not. Life is good.
No,
Life
but
is
this
good, but
this representation
is
of
the
death.
transition.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different...
All right.
A whole different aspect to it.
Yeah.
A whole
All right.
different viewpoint on it.
I'm ready to die,
And
world.
this one here was on the wall in Enderby as a mural.
Oh, really?
For a place called Has Beans Coffee Shop.
Oh, okay.
And she caused a real stir in Enderby because, of course, how she's not dressed.
Yeah.
And can't really see it in this, but there's also the river back there and women swimming in the river.
Oh, yeah, see.
And stuff. So,
I'm drawn to controversy. That must be why I liked it.
That must be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's called Contentment. And that was just that I wanted to get to a point where I could feel contented again after all of the stuff that I've been through. And my friend Bob, I offered him Mona Lisa with a